Host Bob Bockelman, and we're here to please you again today. For our new audience, we want to tell you once again that we bring to you the taste and sounds of New Orleans, and not only New Orleans, but also Louisiana. We like to bring you our favorite goal here is to debut new restaurants and new musical talents. Sometimes we bring you our established musical as well as established restaurants during the holiday. Today we have a little mixture of both, so I think you'll find it interesting. Once again, we always want to tell you you're welcome to come and be on our show. And at the end, you'll see our website. We'll talk about our website and how you can get tickets or calling a certain number, and not tickets, but just come and make your reservations to be here on Saturdays. We'll also invite you to call and ask any questions of our chef. And the numbers will be flashed up a little later today. One last thing, we have a new part of our show, at least a new request, and that in addition to, we're always looking for new musical talent, as you know. We're also looking for new artwork, so we're going to add artist work. As you notice, we bring a lot of stuff from our own collection and hang it on the wall, but we want to give a chance to our New Orleans artists to get some debut and some play. So if you know of someone that would like to exhibit his or her piece on our show, have them get in touch with us the same way for the tickets through the website Revue. I'll get it, RESTREVUE.com, or a number that we'll give you at the end of the show. Okay, enough about that. We want to dig into the meat of the matter today. We have a great new band for you, a group, not a band, and we're going to go ahead and talk to them. Their name is AZERUS, and if you'll follow me, we'll go and see them. Welcome to our show. Howdy doody. All right. This AZERUS is a lovely young lady and man. We have Claire and Shay. Hopefully I've got it right. Claire's our native, and Shay's come to him from California, but he's been here a while. That's right, huh? Great. How'd you get the name AZERUS? It's nice. How's that?
Well, from a word that Jim Morrison had said, azure, and I took it and I made a short story character from it.
Great.
And that's
Great.
our band name.
Great. And they've been together just shortly, but they're appearing all around town, specifically the Neutral Ground, for those who know that Uptown Coffee House where we get a lot of our talent. They were nice enough to do one of our auditions that we have. Again, we'll talk more about that at the end of the show. But without any further ado, look for them around town, and hopefully one day they'll be coming out with a CD. We'll let you know about that at that time. But why don't we hear your first song? I believe it's called Shady.
Correct, Amundo.
Take it away.
All right.
Shady, oh, shady, trees above my head. When I look up, I see the blue skies through the limbs on its body's trunk. Oh, Lin, where have you been? In the sun, I suppose the glow would go with you, gaining a halo. Oh, pretty eyesore, everything rosy round ether days. You're the middleman right for Apollo's hand, 'cause that was the plan. Or did you already know? Blessed be the truth that what we reap is what we sow. Shady, shady, oh, shady, trees above my head, you tower over me, but despite your stature, I still feel equality. Dismemberment, it's your specialty. Enter the trees, for the shadow sun dance with the wind, and all the trees don't stand a chance. Dismemberment, it's your specialty.
Very, very nice. Thank you. That's our group today called AZERUS, and we'll be hearing from them a few more times later on in the show. But let's get down to what we're all about here, and that's our restaurant. As we mentioned, that was a new young group, and today we have a restaurant that's also old and new. How do you put those two together, Bob? Well, this restaurant started off several years ago in one location, expanded to a second, and has now opened its third. And we want you to welcome with us a real good friend of mine, Dana DEUTSCH. Welcome, Dana. Welcome. And he is the executive chef and owner, very young owner of Sunray Grill, an international grill which debuted on our West Bank across the river from us, brought one over on the East Bank in our neighboring parish, and now has just taken over a great new spot in the Rice Mill Apartments, a former rice mill many years ago in our warehouse district. And Cotton House. Sorry. Okay. I knew I'd messed something up. But done a beautiful job in renovating this place with regard to adding a lot of space to it. And we were fortunate enough, if you want more detail on this, we also, as you know, I publish in several rags and the latest issue of Gulf Coast Arts Review, which you can pick up free at a lot of places. We'll have more detail about this particular restaurant. But we're hoping you're watching us today so we can talk to Dana about the food at all the restaurants, and particularly his new restaurant. Let's talk just a little bit about the restaurant. I know your philosophy is kind of like a tropical, new cuisine. Go ahead. Maybe you'd call it something better than
we like to focus our cuisine on the hot spots of the world. So tropical. I like to use the word tropical cuisine. You're going to have a lot of Caribbean influences, American Southwest. Southeast Asian in that Thailand, Vietnam, and those hot spots there, and also the Mediterranean. So it's a unique blend of different types of cooking that represent a lighter cuisine.
Right. And as you can see from behind us, an inside shot of Dana's new restaurant. He loves the use of art. In all of his restaurants, he's had local artists debut their works and hang from. As you know, a restaurant has become a gallery nowadays, especially here in New Orleans. We have so many places for the artists to hang some of their wares, and so we wanted to do him tribute to show some of the lovely artist work he has in all of his restaurants, but particularly the new one, and brought you some vibrant flowers from our local sponsor who gives us great flowers to really debut and make you feel at home and how comfortable and light and airy this restaurant is. What's interesting about it, because it was a mill, it's of course got a heavy industrial look. I mean, that's something you have to do. It's very expansive. But what they've done is actually formed a colonnade of arches, of columns, right down the center that gives a partition without being a partition. In fact, they actually can drop down some canvas to really make into a segment, into more like a private party. But it still maintains that expanse and softened it up, of course, with a lot of color and a lot of the artwork. So it really is a great new place, and it has a lot of the touches the other ones do. The decor is very similar to the others, and the restaurant menus are predominantly the same. The only major difference is that he gets quite a young group of talented chefs coming through there and gives them what we call the chalkboard creations. He uses his creations his chalkboard as you come in, for certain areas like soups we'll talk about, and certain entrees where it really lets your chef shine. And that's where your distinctions are when you come. So there'll be consistency for the most part. So if you're in one place and you're close to one of them, don't feel, oh, well, is it going to be totally different? No, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of individuality there to draw you to that particular place. And Dana at this new place has introduced music and is going to be using, hopefully, some of our musicians that we've had on the show in his restaurant to help lure you and make your dining appetizing a lot more interesting. Okay, well, enough about that. Let's talk about the actual menu as we do. So we want to go ahead through. Let's
dive in, so to speak.
That's the best way to put it. We want to start with the appetizers, as we always do. And I know one of my favorites is something that Dana does, and it's going by the wayside by even as many of the Mexican and Spanish restaurants, and that's homemade guacamole done tableside. Let's talk a little bit about it. I know you have a name for it, but I mean it's
we call it taqueria guacamole, and it's basically it's a testament to the simplicity of ingredients. well presented and freshly made,
Oh, yes.
it really makes it special. Guacamole and avocados, I mean, we all know we've cut into an avocado and let it sit there for 30 minutes and it begins to brown and
Right.
break down very quickly. So what we've done, being that it is a simple preparation, we were doing that in the kitchen on a daily basis, and I was always amazed at how quick it was to get it out and how great it was when it was fresh, and that by the next shift it wasn't so great. So I never would put it on my menu. I would use it as I would make it to put it on a fajita plate or something like that, but I would never make it as an appetizer. And we finally decided to let's take that concept and let's do it fresh at the table. It doesn't take a lot of work, and you really have a dynamic appetizer, and you also have entertainment, because when you're ordering it, there is a presentation there that when somebody comes out and takes the time to make your dish in front of you, it really makes it a little bit more exciting.
Exactly. And one other point you failed to mention, and that is the customization, because if you like more of a particular ingredient or less of another, don't hesitate to tell your waiter or your waitress. They will, when they're blending it, they'll do, if you like extra garlic like me or a little more cilantro for more kick, load it in there. So that's what's good about it. You're getting a customized, not the brand stuff that's done by the house or where they buy it somewhere else. So couldn't get a better combination. What a great way to start a meal is with fresh guacamole. But let's talk about, I know you have, again, folks, where he's almost trying to do everything to feed every need, because we've got a lot of different cuisines put together, and we want to talk a little bit about the other variety. Another one of your thing was your summer salad. Isn't that right?
Yeah, we do
you call it as an appetizer, even though you have salads on the menu, but you call it as an appetizer. Let's talk about that one.
The summer or the sunray salad that we do is it's a melon, and what we do with that is we hollow out, or we cut the melon in half, and then we hollow it out with the seeds. Then we scoop out the insides of that of the melon, so that you have little diced bits of that. We retoss that with cucumbers and shrimp and bits of tortilla straws, baby greens, a little bit of shredded carrots, sometimes snap peas. We retoss that with the fruit, restuff it back into the half shell, and serve that. It's a very light, summery, fresh salad. It's tossed with a ginger vinaigrette, so it's a very nice, light, and flavorful salad. Great for the hot months in the summertime, and really refreshing, really filling.
Right. Now I know you have, is it a nacho dish that you also like to serve on your appetizer?
Yes, we do. We have a new something that we've been doing.
You're in the midst of changing, adding.
It's been a chalkboard special of mine that I've been influenced on the chalkboards since we've opened the new restaurant. It's another Southwestern flared dish. We're using blue corn chips. We toss those in an ancho pepper that's been blended down with bits of olive oil, and that coats the chips with a real kind of Southwestern flavor, a little bit of chili spice, and we top that again with black beans, melted cheese, and then we melt the cheese off. We pull that back out and we start loading on a lot of fresh produce. We put some shredded romaine lettuce, bits of pico de gallo, fresh lime juice, and we finish that off with just a little bit of a Southwestern style ranch dressing that we make at the restaurant, and last but not least, shredded roasted duck meat.
Right.
And that comes from the ducks that we roast off for the entree version.
Entree version, right.
And as we cut those down and we debone those, we have a lot of extra meat that we're able to reuse in these nachos.
Okay, before we touch the last, folks, you can see on the screen we've just put up our numbers, 483-3336 and 483-3338. Give us a call, talk to Dana and I about any questions about his restaurant or some of the dishes that he will be talking about. Let's go on one more thing on appetizing. You have one called Small Plate du Jour, and this is where you start giving your individual chef his chance to be creative. Let's talk about what you call your Small Plate du Jour.
The small plate is something I focused on. I like to do different and innovative appetizers, and I don't like to be tied down to a menu sometimes. I find a menu sometimes limits me, so that's why we do have the chalkboards and the creative edge. The small plate puts the emphasis on the kitchen on a daily basis to come up with some appetizer creation of their own that they present on a daily basis, and it keeps that creative flow going. And that can be anything. Last night in New Orleans restaurant, that small plate was a mussels dish with a saffron cream, and tomorrow it could be a grilled It could be a grilled sausage sampler plate, or you know, just an empanada, or you know, whatever. There is no limit there. You're not limited by any.
Exactly. So there's your chance to explore, folks. So rather than just take it on the menu, try those specialties. Now, let's move on to soups. That's one of my favorite categories. He only has two, unfortunately. A standard great black bean, which is really dynamite, and his soup du jour. But again, it's a chalkboard creation, and this is where he really excels. He and I both agree that soup is one of the main places in the meal, and sometimes is the most important, if not the whole entree. So let's talk about a little bit about all the varies that you're putting on the table with regard to your soups.
On a daily basis, we will be doing 2 soups a day, but sometimes we will do more than that. It just depends. Sometimes we're in a transition. We're finishing up a soup that we had made yesterday. We'll run that as well as a new soup that we created that day. But yes, the soups are usually highly creative. That's another area that focuses from the individual kitchen and the individual person who runs that kitchen in my restaurants. In Metairie, we have a gentleman named David Crane who is doing some fantastic, real Creole, old New Orleans style soups, anything from chicken stews to just hearty, rich gumbos, great cream-based oyster Rockefeller soups and things like that. I'm a great soup maker. I'm not able to spend quite as much time in my kitchen as I used to, but I do. I have a list of fans that love some of the soups that I was putting out when I was there quite a bit. In New Orleans, Chris Arnold is doing some great stuff. He's from Nebraska, so he brings a little bit different edge to some of the things he's done. And we've even taught him how to make a damn good gumbo.
All right. Well, great. Now the other aspect, of course, besides the soup, are the salads. Nowadays, that's not only important with the ladies, but all of us who, I don't watch my weight, but most of the people who do, you have a lot of variety here. So let's talk about a few of the entree salads, and then we'll move on to some of the other dishes. I know there's a chicken version of salad that you want to talk about. Which one is that?
The pecan crusted chicken salad. Pecan crusted chicken salad is probably it is the hottest seller in all 3 of our restaurants. It outsells all of our salads 3 to 1. I've always had a tremendous focus on salads, and we sell a large part of our sales comes from our salad selections, especially at lunch. The pecan crusted salad is really unique. What we do with that, we take toasted pecans, and we run those through a food processor with a bit of brown sugar, some orange zest, which gives it a nice, citrusy kind of essence, and trying to think of what else I'm missing in there. Some other herbs and seasonings. That makes a nice little crushed crust. Then what we do, this is not a fried salad, this is a grilled chicken that we roll in a honey and spice mixture, which makes that chicken sticky when it comes off the grill. And then from there, we roll that chicken in this pecan crusted mix. We slice it across at a bias, and we lay that on top of a bed of romaine that's been tossed in a Creole honey mustard vinaigrette. Creole honey mustard dressing, and then loaded up with all kinds of salad greens. We run it through the garden, and just a bit of fried rice stick noodles to give it some elevation and some crunch.
Yeah, very pretty presentation. Very pretty.
Thank
now,
you.
how about your crab meat? I know you have a crab meat salad because a lot of people out there like the crab meat. So let's talk about that one as well.
The crab meat salad is another great one. This is swinging to the Mediterranean influences, and we toss that in extra virgin olive oil, lemon juice. It's baby greens, and we also add in great New Orleans olive salad and jardinera mix, and we toss all these greens together in that, and then ladle it generously with crab meat. Serve that with some grilled pita wedges on the side.
Okay, and I know you have a new salad coming out. I'm supposed to remind you of it, but
actually,
I don't know what
that's the one. I think you asked that you said a summer salad. I misunderstood you. I think you were referring to the Sonoma salad.
Yeah,
the Sonoma salad is a little appetizer salad. We also do an entree version of it. It's a spinach salad. Real influences are coming here from the Napa Valley or the wine country in California, where I spent some time going to college in the 80s. And this is a little. It's a light honey balsamic vinaigrette, tossed with spinach. We add fresh bacon that we've cooked off ourselves, not a bacon bit or something, crumbled up on top of that. A little bit of a shower of blue cheese, and what we do with the blue cheese is we get it very cold in the freezer, and then we grate it so it's a fine little powder almost on top. And we also add some crushed pecans on top of that, crushed toasted pecans.
And one of my favorites,
And very thinly shaved onions, and that really, I don't want to miss that because that really adds to the salad. Very, very thin shaved onions on top.
some of those same ingredients were in the salad, and I don't know if you I didn't see it on the menu, but I call it a tomato stack, where we had layers of tomatoes with the onion and just. Folks, you know what the tomato salad is: tomato, onion, and cheese. You can have it at a lot of places, different variations. This was an excellent thing. It's stacked up like a sandwich, just layers and layers. Beautifully presented and just very tasteful. So I don't think it's on the menu, but I'm telling you, ask for it, because if you like it that way, you'll find it's one of your better salads. Okay, we need to move on a little bit because we are getting into the show. So let's see, let's start, because you have, again, a very large menu here. I know you want to talk about some of your skillet dish, which is your Southwestern influence, but also a lot of these dishes are other nationalities. Let's talk a couple of skillet dishes, and we'll move on to something else.
I like doing the skillets. The fajitas have been done in many restaurants, and we really wanted to bring these. And they made the last menu where we've done a variety of these dishes, and they're fajitas. We call them skillets. They're served on a hot skillet over a bed of onions and peppers that have been marinated in a tamarind and lime mixture, and we do everything from crawfish, tuna, shrimp. We do a skirt steak, of course chicken, and these are just a little bit more of an upscale, more of a bistro-style version. They're served they're wrapped in a cloth napkin, very nicely presented. They're all finished with an ancho chili glaze on top and a fresh lime, and then the basket itself that we serve with all the fixings on the side is also a very fresh mixture of guacamole, saffron rice, black beans. And we serve that with a basket of warm flour tortillas, and it's just it's a little more authentic take. It's if you would be down in Juarez, Mexico, it's closer to the type of cuisine that you're going to get. It's just a little bit more gourmet fix on the fajita skillet.
Well, keeping along those lines, and again, geared more toward the lunch and dinner, even though it's available all the time, are your sandwiches, and subset of that are your burgers. We want to talk about those before we get into the heavy-duty entrees. I know you got some great-looking sandwiches here. Which one do you recommend? I'm going to talk about the burger, because I had a great burger there the other day. But I want you to pick out, which sandwich would you like to speak about today?
I guess we'll talk about the Chicken Club Pita, because that's a sandwich that could feed a small army, and it's one of the hottest sellers. You see the staff constantly getting off of work and running out to get their Chicken Club Pita. It's a great sandwich, and it really leaves you with a sense of being a complete meal.